Hey, what's going on, guys? What's happening? YouTube. Good morning, everybody. You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. I'm enjoying my morning coffee right now and figured we'd cover what I thought was kind of an interesting business story. The topic of vaccine mandates in the workplace has been a controversial one, and thus far, outside of healthcare and maybe education, we haven't really seen a lot of vaccination mandates from employers. Um, but that's kind of changed recently. Facebook, Apple, and Google have all become kind of the most high profile companies, the biggest companies, and the first companies kind of outside of healthcare and public education to force vaccines upon their employees. I heard it rumored that sometime later today, today's Thursday, I forget what the date is today, but sometime later today, Joe Biden is going to announce a federal vaccine mandate for all federal employees, as well as all federal contractors. So any company who contracts with the federal government will also have to have all of their employees vaccinated. Now, here's what's kind of interesting about this to me. The White House, I don't think the White House has really revealed what percentage of their staff are vaccinated, but some unnamed sources have said it's like around 50% or less, so right around where kind of the general public is. Also, the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and the CDC, the vaccination rates amongst their employees is about the same. I think last I heard it was under 50%. It's probably around 50%. But it's interesting to me that the same organizations who are pushing this on people and pushing companies to force their employees to get vaccinated aren't even requiring their own staff to be vaccinated. That seems kind of strange to me. I'd be curious to hear about your thoughts about forced vaccinations in the workplace. Obviously this channel is about business and entrepreneurship, and I kind of often talk about financial independence, right? Like the FIRE lifestyle, being frugal. And, regardless of how you feel about vaccines, whether you want one or whether you don't, being financially independent allows you to have freedom and kind of make choices for yourself. So if you're somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck and your job says you have to get a vaccine and you don't want a vaccine, well, you're really just probably going to have to wind up taking the vaccine because you can't afford to be out of a job and look for a new job, and you'll wind up struggling financially. However, if you're financial independent, if you got a couple years worth of money to live without needing a job, your workplace, and this goes beyond vaccines, right? This can go for, you ask for some vacation time off to go to a family reunion and they say no. You can say, well, fuck you, I quit and go find yourself a new job. But in this instance, if something's trying to be forced upon you, and you're financially independent, you can leave because you're not going to be sweating going a few weeks or a few months without a paycheck. So I just want to kind of stress the importance of starting businesses, saving money, investing money, and being financially independent. But again, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Should workplaces require vaccines? Should workplaces not require vaccines? I actually recently heard about I forget the name of the company. I don't know if it was Ferragamo or it was some high-end like Italian bag and clothing maker. They recently announced that they're giving their employees who are unvaccinated 6 months paid leave because they think it's too dangerous to have them in the office. And it kind of got me like, oh no, don't punish me by sending me home and paying me for 6 months without having to come to work. Like that actually kind of seems like a reward as opposed to a punishment. I know Facebook, Google, and Apple have all kind of gone heavily remotely anyways. And I think it was JP Morgan or Chase or Bank of America had recently said, only vaccinated employees will come into the office, will be allowed to come into the office. Well, we recently, have been seeing all these articles about, 58% of employees say they're going to quit if they're not allowed to continue working remotely. So it seems like, I don't know if you want to say overwhelmingly, but at least half of employees don't want to return to the office. So if you can say I'm unvaccinated, oh no, you're not allowed in the office. Oh, well that sucks. I guess I'll just keep working remote. I don't know. It doesn't really seem to be a punishment in most of these instances. I think it'll be interesting to see kind of how this shakes out. These companies are kind of jumping the gun in the sense that the vaccine currently only has emergency authorization. It hasn't been fully approved by the FDA. I know a lot of people speculate that once the vaccine is fully FDA approved, you'll see more companies kind of start jumping on the bandwagon and requiring vaccines. I think for anybody who's looking for a job or thinking about a company to work for, I think you kind of need to evaluate, do these companies respect my rights and my autonomy, or is this a company that's going to force something upon me, if that's something that you're concerned about? But let's hop into this article. Facebook requiring U.S. employees to be vaccinated to return to work. Facebook will require U.S. workers returning to its offices to be vaccinated, the company said on Wednesday. The company will continue to evaluate its approach outside of the U.S. Google said earlier Wednesday it would also require vaccinations for workers returning to the office. Facebook will require U.S. workers returning to its offices to be vaccinated, the company said on Wednesday. As our offices reopen, we will be requiring anyone coming to work at any of our U.S. campuses to be vaccinated, VP of People Lori Gohler said in a statement. How we implement this policy will depend on local conditions and regulations. Facebook will create processes for those who can't be vaccinated for medical or other reasons, Gohler said. The company will continue to evaluate its approach outside of the U.S., Gohler added. Facebook already told full-time employees that most of them could continue working from home beyond the pandemic if their jobs could be done remotely. The news comes after Google CEO Sundar Pichai told employees earlier the same day that Google would delay its return to office plans by 1 month, citing the fast-spreading Delta variant. Pichai also said returning workers would have to be vaccinated. Apple earlier delayed its return to office plans, though it has not come out publicly with a vaccine requirement for workers. The company will require customers and staff to wear masks at many of its U.S. retail stores, regardless of vaccination status, beginning on Thursday, a person familiar with the matter told CNBC's Lipton. And we're actually kind of seeing that in a lot of places across the country. I know Vegas initially had recommended people wear masks indoors. I believe yesterday they made it a mandate. Los Angeles, I forget if it's Los Angeles or the entire state of California, not to be outdone by the CDC, rolled out an even stricter mask requirement than the CDC issued. And I believe there was one other state, St. Louis, I believe was the first one to bring back mask mandates, although at least one county has already, kind of voted that down and vowed to kind of defy it. It'll be interesting to see what this fall looks like for a host of reasons. I think the eviction moratorium ends, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I forget the date, but the eviction moratorium ends, if not today, I believe it's tomorrow. And then come September, enhanced unemployment benefits are going to come to an end. I saw an article the other day stating that employees or workers in a lot of states are actually suing to try to keep unemployment going on. But again, I think it's going to be really, really interesting this fall to see how much this winds up affecting businesses, how much this winds up affecting brick and mortar businesses, and kind of what the fallout is from kind of all the evictions, as well as unemployment ending for a lot of people. On Tuesday, the CDC walked back its earlier mask guidance for fully vaccinated people, saying that they should again wear masks indoors in places with high COVID-19 transmission rates. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said the change was due to new information on a Delta variant, showing that some vaccinated people infected by the strain could continue to spread it to others. I saw an article out of, I believe it was CBS Sacramento, the other day that said 25% of their cases are vaccinated people. It seems like they're kind of trying to underplay the amount of vaccinated people getting COVID. But again, I guess the goal of the vaccination isn't to stop you from getting COVID. It's to stop you from winding up in a hospital or dying from COVID. But yeah, just kind of, I think this is really interesting from a business perspective. I believe there was some OSHA guidance that said if an employer requires employees to be vaccinated and they wind up having an injury or some type of negative effect from the vaccine, then it could be considered a workman's compensation claim. I've seen people online say, well, could the same be said if they don't require vaccines and you wind up getting COVID? Could that be a work? I don't think that's the case with that. But anyhow, this fall is going to be really interesting. It'll be really interesting to see kind of how this plays out, whether more companies kind of jump on board with these policies. As always, would be interested to hear your thoughts, so go ahead and drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.